But if you're not very valuable to the marketplace, you don't get much money. You say, well, it shouldn't be that way. Well, then you got to start your own country. You know, this one's been in process for 200 years, and this is the best we've been able to come up with so far.
So, check out this tweet from Elon Musk. Quote, "Use of the word billionaire as a pejorative is morally wrong and dumb." Now, for those of you who aren't sure what pejorative is, basically negative, insulting. Billionaire, billionaire, billionaire. We're going to talk a lot about this. It's an extremely important lesson. In fact, this video today may contain the single most valuable lesson you will ever learn, or not learn. So, if you think you can handle the cold hard truth, stick around, and if not, feel free to go back to your corner, cry, complain, blame, and find excuses rather than a way. Let's get into it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. So back to Elon's tweet. I've said this in the past, I've called it out in the mainstream media. The term billionaire is generally used pejoratively to suggest there's something intrinsically wrong with being a billionaire. The media does this all the time to direct hate, venom, vitriol towards these greedy rich people who took away from me. That's the only way you possibly become a billionaire is to take from other people. Not so. Elon followed up this comment with a poll. Who do you trust less? Real question. Politicians or billionaires? Close to an 80-20 split here. I honestly don't even know what to say for the 20 odd or so % of people who trust billionaires less than an average politician. But anyway, each to their own. Elon commenting on his own poll to AOC. I dare you to run the same poll with your followers. Of course, I doubt AOC has the balls to do that. Some guy with 3 first names responding to this thread. Quote, "I've yet to find a single non-toxic person who uses billionaire pejoratively. Media uses it with bad intentions. Sheeple use it to vent their envy, rage, and jealousy and validate their victim mentality because if you worked hard and added value, you are a bad person. F you, but also give me your money, tax the rich, and buy my merch. AOC.com/tax-the-rich merch or something like that." Somebody replying to this tweet, I've obscured the name and avatar to protect the innocent. "I think it's valid to ask why so much wealth is given to one person within an organization. And yep, this is totally fair. Why would somebody get paid so much? And that's the point of this video. More on that in a moment. Not just in the case of Tesla and Elon, though his compensation is still obviously excessive." No, it's not. We'll talk more about that as well. Does any single person work literally 1,000,000 times harder than anyone else? Nope. But here's the kicker. People are not compensated based on how hard or how much they work, but how much value they provide. Yes, some people add more value than others and are compensated accordingly. Now, some people just do not want to hear this. In fact, they refuse to accept this as true. It's not possible. There's no way anyone could possibly provide that much value. Translation? I don't believe that I could provide that much value. In fact, I'm so blinded by my own self-imposed limitations that I'm unwilling to accept that anyone on planet Earth could provide any more value at all than I can currently. And therefore, anyone who makes any more money than I do, either as income, stock-based compensation, or any other combination thereof, is being overpaid unfairly or I'm not being paid enough. I could guess, almost to the dollar, how much somebody who makes these kind of comments that nobody deserves XYZ amount of income, billionaires make too much, billionaires are evil, CEOs are overpaid. What do you mean, $20 million of income in a year? What the f***? That's bullshit. I could guess almost to the dollar how much is in both the bank account and how much is currently being earned by every single person who makes these kind of comments. This is a broke ass motherfucker's mindset. One more time. This is a broke ass motherfucker's mindset. If you ever hear anyone complaining about how much somebody else earns in terms of it's too much, it's not fair, they don't deserve it, etc., you can guarantee that this person is broke as f***. And I mean mentally. Usually they'll also be financially broke, but of course there are exceptions, like trust fund kids who inherited some money, got a huge gift and don't really understand the whole idea of add value, get compensated accordingly. So dear viewer, we're only a few minutes into the video, but I can already tell you something about yourself and your psychology. If when I started talking about people being paid in proportion to the value they bring to the marketplace and your first reaction was to try to find a counterexample to disprove that's not, this person got paid, you're absolutely f***ed. Just give up. It's over. Unless you fix your mindset, you're absolutely f***ed. I'm just being honest. If, on the other hand, you started thinking, so you mean that I'm being paid in proportion to the value I'm currently bringing to the marketplace today? That means if I don't think that I'm getting paid enough, it's because I'm not bringing enough value. Maybe I could increase my value and increase my compensation. You are the opposite of f***ed. You're going to have a very successful, financially abundant future. Mindset is everything. So now that the professional victims and excuse makers have left the room, I'm going to hand it over to the great late Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins' original mentor, articulating these points far better than I could ever dream of. Unless you are currently earning as much income as you believe you are capable of and deserve, pay very close attention to what Jim Rohn has to say. And as you do, ask yourself, just in general terms, in the US political landscape, is there any correlation in terms of the mindset of people and their voting habits, especially relating to personal responsibility, being a victim versus taking responsibility, blaming others, finding an excuse rather than making plans and finding a way? Are there any groups of voters where politicians on either side of the political aisle are pandering to those folks who believe that, I don't know, if you've been successful in the United States, you've provided tens, hundreds of thousands of jobs, positively impacted the economy, and more importantly, the world, that you're a leech on society, you just take, you don't contribute any value whatsoever, you're too greedy and you should maybe be taxed a little bit more? Anyway, let's get into it.
The first one is personal development. Now, in illustrating personal development, Mr. Schoaf, my teacher, started with money. You know, money's not the only place to start in talking personal development, but it's where he started, so let me share the thoughts he shared with me back then. Let me share them with you. Here's the best lesson I can give you on economics. It's very simple. We get paid for bringing value to the marketplace. That's about as simple as I can put economics. We get paid for bringing value to the marketplace. Now, it takes time to bring value to the marketplace. However, we do not get paid for time, so we cross that out. Mistakenly, the man says, I'm making about $20 for an hour. Not true. If that was true, you could just stay home, right, and have him send your money. So that's not true. We don't get paid for time. We get paid for value brought to the marketplace. Now, since that's true, here's one of the key questions of my talk to you today. Is it possible to become twice as valuable to the marketplace and make twice as much money in the same time? Is that possible? The answer is yes. Could you become 3 times as valuable as you might be right now to the marketplace and make 3 times as much money in the same time? And the answer is yes. 5 times, 10 times? Of course. America is unique. It's a ladder to climb. It starts down here, let's say, at $5 an hour, and it keeps going up. Top income last year, $80 million. The guy who runs Coca-Cola. Now, that's a heck of a ladder. That's why everybody wants to come here, right? The boat people are not headed for Vietnam. People haven't plotted and schemed for 50 years saying if I could just get to Poland, everything would be okay. Not true. Everybody wants to come to America. And the reason is because we've got the best wind ever blowing in our favor. We've got the best economic opportunity anybody's had in 6,500 years. And all you have to do is understand it and take advantage of it. Now, there's some key questions to ask here. Why would the marketplace pay someone only $5 an hour? Very simple answer. They're not very valuable to the marketplace. Now, we must underline to the marketplace. This person might be a very valuable brother, yes. Member of the family, valuable, yes. Valuable citizen of the country, yes. But if you're not very valuable to the marketplace, you don't get much money. You say, well, it shouldn't be that way. Well, then you got to start your own country. You know, this one's been in process for 200 years, and this is the best we've been able to come up with so far. But here's the key. You don't have to stay here.
Exactly. Just tax the evil billionaires so we all have more money. Wait. That wasn't the point he was making, was it?
Now, there was a big debate in Congress last year that this $5 was not enough, should be 6, should be 6, should be 6. But we don't need legislation. 6 is already on this ladder, the next step up. You know, if you work for McDonald's, they'll pay you $5 an hour to take out the trash. If you whistle while you take out the trash, they'll pay you $6 an hour. So we don't need legislation. You just need to take lessons on how to whistle. Have a good attitude. Now, as you begin to climb this ladder, why would the marketplace pay some people $50 an hour? Answer, evidently, they must be more valuable to the market. 10 times more valuable. And is that possible for someone to be 10 times more valuable and earn $50 an hour instead of 5? And the answer is yes. That's what America is all about. Now, why would the marketplace pay some people $500 an hour? Evidently, this person must be much more valuable to the marketplace. That's what's important to understand, to the marketplace. And would the marketplace pay one person $80 million for 1 year's work? And the answer is, of course. If you helped a company make $1 billion, would they pay you $80 million? I'm telling you, it is possible.
So just want to take a quick pause here. Anyone remember Elon Musk's 2018 CEO compensation plan at Tesla? The one that caused a storm in the financial media. Oh my God, Elon doesn't deserve this. He's getting overpaid. What the f***? And so on. A plan that required Elon Musk to more than 10x the market capitalization of Tesla and massively increase profits. Remember that? At the time, many people said this was absurd, it was ludicrous. Nobody deserves that amount of compensation. But again, this is something that many people just couldn't understand. Maybe small brain syndrome, something like that. In order for Elon to get paid, and by get paid, we mean get compensated with a bunch of stock, not actually earn the income, Tesla shareholders needed to see an incredible increase in value. As Jim Rohn pointed out before, help a company make $1 billion in a year, you think they'll pay you $80 million? They sure f***ing will. This is the point. Again, you get paid in proportion to the value you provide. The reason that billionaires exist in general is because they have provided either a small amount of value to 1 billion plus people, products and services you use every day. Hello? Billionaires created most of them. Why? Because they added value and they were compensated accordingly. Or, in rare occasions, a billionaire has provided incredible amounts of value, far in excess to $1 billion, to a smaller number of people. It's really that simple.
That's why America is so exciting. That's why this financial ladder is so exciting. It's possible for all of this to come true for all of you, no matter where you start. As a student in school, just getting started out there in the workplace, this is all possible for you. Now, Mr. Schoaf gave me the clue on how to climb this ladder as high as I wanted to climb. Now, we're talking primarily economics. See, there's a lot of other ways to become valuable to your family, valuable to your friends, valuable to the community, valuable to the team, right? Valuable to the team effort, valuable to the concert. But here's what he said to me. In climbing this ladder economically, all you have to do is work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Once I heard that, it made sense to me. I kept hoping that everything else would change around me, found out that if I went to work on myself, worked on my skills, worked on my language, if I became better than I was each year, if I grew in skills and language and vocabulary and competence, then I would become attractive to the marketplace.
Now this, by the way, is actually one of the most important lessons I have ever learned in my own life. In fact, let's illustrate this very point. So, what we're looking at here is my annual and financial year income over the last 12 or so years. Now, what's this arrow all about? Well, that arrow is the point where I got fired from my first ever full-time job and thought, that's not normal. Stephen, perhaps you need to do some work on yourself. We heard Jim Rohn, work harder on yourself. And that is what I've been doing for the last 12 plus years. And I really mean that. At this point, I've read close to 1,000 books. I've spent probably $100,000 plus on personal development, courses, seminars, events, coaching, you name it, I've tried it all in an effort to improve my skills, my abilities, and that's right, my value to the marketplace, as reflected in these green bars, which represent my annual income for the calendar year and financial year. Notice a trend, up. Now in the middle here, there's a large surge. What happened there? Well, I transitioned from a lowly graphic designer. No offense to the graphic designers out there. After all, I was one. There's just a very low income ceiling there because unless you're literally a top 0.0001% designer, which I was not, you're not going to be able to provide a huge amount of value. Shout out to Fiverr.com. Soon after, I retired, so the income plummeted because I wasn't really earning any, and now I've started on YouTube. During the course of this decade or so long period of time, my income has increased approximately 30 times. Now, I'm not here to boast or brag. That's why there's no numbers on the side. I don't care, right? The point isn't the numbers, it's the trend. The reason my income has increased steadily over this time is because I've increased the amount of value I can add to the marketplace. I have a huge number of skills. This stuff compounds over time. I started where everyone else does. No skills, no value whatsoever. I've had to learn and grow, but I've done that. I've put in the work. I haven't taken a day off in now almost 1,000 days in a row. Not even joking. You want to fact check me? Go back and look how often I've been dropping videos here on YouTube. I'm a hard fucking worker. I'm serious about my goals and I do what it takes. Rather than finding an excuse, I try to find a way. And this is a very important lesson for people to understand. The reason that I've been able to do this with my own personal income is because I don't have a broke ass motherfucker's mindset. Instead of playing the victim, oh, that's not fair, they don't deserve that. I'm thinking, wait, how did they get paid so much? How did they bring so much value? After all, they do say success leaves clues. Find what what quote unquote successful people, by whatever metric you use, in this case I'm just talking in financial terms, find out what successful people do and do the same things. Then you'll get the same results. It's actually that simple. And this again comes back to the lesson here. The reason that so many people, including in the media, and many people in the general public, use billionaire pejoratively, in my opinion, is because they either don't know this is possible, or more likely, they just aren't willing to do what it takes. They don't want to start work earlier, stay a little bit later, read the books, go to the courses, do the seminars. Instead, they'd rather get home and watch television, hang out with their friends, go to a bar and get drunk. And by the way, don't get me wrong, I've had many lifetimes worth of fun already, but this really matters. And I wanted to illustrate visually what it looks like when somebody actually takes this advice on board and goes, oh, well, you know what? I get fired from my job, probably need to do some personal development here. Fast forward a decade or so after all of that compounding, and there you go.
Not very long ago, a company called me and said, Mr. Rohn, we're expanding internationally. We'd like to have a bit of your expertise to help us. Would you give us a bit of your time? We'll add some millions to your fortune. And I said, okay. And I thought later, isn't that interesting? They would call me. Then my second thought was, of course they'd call me. Who else would they call? I can get the job done. Now, what a contrast for me, farm boy from Idaho, raised in obscurity, parents of modest means, broke when I was 25. How come I would get a telephone call and someone offer me a lot of money to help them in expanding around the world? Simple answer, evidently, something happened to me between age 25 and where I am today. And I can tell you where it all started. From my teacher, Mr. Schoaf, who said to me, we don't have to change what's going on out there. That's the wind that's blowing. All we have to do is change what's going on in here.
So if I'm following here, what he's saying is we don't need to change what's out there, aka tax the rich, billionaires are evil, blah, 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 blah. No, instead, we've got to work on ourselves and things will change. This is at the very core of why billionaire is being used as a pejorative term. People who are either unaware or unwilling to change, to put in the work, to work the extra hours, to read the books, to do the courses, to go to the seminars, to get the coaches and so on, are simply looking for an excuse, a reason to validate their current situation, an easy way out. Oh, I don't need to do anything. It's not my I can't change anything, man. It's the taxes, the government, everyone else's fault. It's not my fault. I don't need to do anything. I'm a victim. Please help me. Hence, the media uses the term billionaire to pander to these pathetic people. Yes, pathetic people, you can change, but if that's how you think you are pathetic, just the facts. You don't need to stay pathetic, but that is a pathetic mindset. To pander to these pathetic people, and the people who resonate with the idea that billionaires are evil, greedy, they took from us, they should get taxed more and so on. Bingo, also pathetic. There's just no other words.
All we have to do is change what's going on in here. And now there's several ways to do that on personal development. And let me give you those ways. Here's the first one. We must learn from personal experience. Pretty simple. Learn from what happens to you. Take a look back over the last few months. Did you make some mistakes? How could you correct those for the future? Take a look back over the last year. Have you done it right or done it wrong? Let's correct it for the next year. Learn from your personal experience. Mr. Schoaf asked me when I first met him, he said, Mr. Rohn, how are you doing? You've been out there now 6 years. And I said, I'm not doing very well. He said, I suggest you not do that anymore. What a simple, swift analysis to my situation. He said, if you keep doing it, the next 6 years will be like the last 6. You don't want that to happen. Let's make the changes. So learn from your personal experience. Now here's number 2, why I came to share this video experience with you today. And that, I call it OPE, other people's experience. That's me, other people. That's your teacher, other people. That's your friends and colleagues, other people. The people you meet that can pass along to you their experiences, what's happened to them, the mistakes they made, how they corrected them, how they changed their health and changed their bank account and changed their income and changed their future. That's it, other people. Now there's 2 kinds of people to learn from. One is failures. It's too bad failures don't give seminars, right? That would be valuable. Bring your notebook, have them tell you how they lost it all and threw it all away, threw their health away and threw their friendships away and things didn't work out well. That would be valuable. But now then we must also learn from positive, people that have done well. They've got the health, and so we ask them, how did you become so healthy?
I mean, he's got a point. As I said earlier, success leaves clues. If somebody isn't a fat motherfucker, doesn't have extremely low levels of energy, you might ask them, hey, what are you doing? What do you eat? How much do you exercise? What exercise do you do? Do you take supplements? What supplements? What does work? What doesn't work? How much do you sleep? Do you track your sleep? What else do you do to improve your health, longevity, and energy? Please, I'm all ears. I mean, surely that's better than talking to one of your fellow fat motherfucker friends and ask about, oh, hey man, I'm trying to lose weight. Got any ideas?
They've got the skill, so we asked them, how did you become this skillful? They've got the income, so we asked them, how did you get here in such a short period of time? So now here's what's important in personal development. In learning from other people, we learn, number one, by observation. We learn what we see. We watch people that are successful in what they do. In sports, we watch their disciplines. In business, we watch their disciplines by observation, what we can see. The reason I created this video is something that you could see someone's experiences translated for you. Second, we learn by what we hear. I've got some of my lectures on cassette tapes, so you can take them with you wherever you go and learn by listening. Turn your car into a mobile classroom and listen. And then listen to the sermon on Sunday morning. Listen to the lectures. Listen to the teacher. Listen to someone who's got something good to say. And then number three is vitally important on personal development, and that is read all the books you can possibly read in your lifetime. Mr. Schoaf got me started on my library. I've got one of the better libraries. Haven't read everything in it, but I feel smarter just walking in it. My library. At least I was smart enough to buy it. Now I got to be smart enough to read it. And then, of course, I got to be smart enough to decide what's valuable and then do it. But this one is very important. Become a good reader.
This is some of the most important and valuable advice you will ever hear. Only, of course, if you implement it. I talk about this stuff a lot on Patreon Q&As, Card in Corner, link in description if you'd like to join. I'm a voracious reader. I mean, addicted to learning. Every single day I spend at least 1 to 2 hours listening to educational material. Seriously. My 12-month goals are right here on a piece of paper. I regularly rewrite and review these. Why? I've learned it. Writing and reviewing your goals is a great way to actually executing and achieving them. Something I learned in a book once upon a time. Of course, most people are far too lazy to continue to learn and educate themselves. That's why they get average results. By the way, just for the record, when I am listening, I'm always listening to audiobooks these days, very rarely reading something. First thing I do in the morning, upon waking up, audiobooks straight on, get into my morning routine, take my supplements. I usually listen at 1.5 to 2 times speed. Occasionally I'll pause and rewind, stop start as well. But if I'm listening for an hour or two in a day, I actually may be consuming 2 to 4 hours worth of content. As much as I'd like to be spooning with your girlfriend in bed for those 2 hours, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. I have very ambitious goals for the future and I'm nowhere near on track, so I know I have a very big price to pay and I'm willing to pay that price.
And then other books that helped to really change my life. One called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And then a book that helped me become financially independent by the time I was 31. And that book is called The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. And I'm going to share a little bit of that book with you when I get to financial independence today, our third subject.
By the way, here's a pro tip, and I'm going to say it in the most insulting way I possibly can. If you ever hear somebody who has some results in life that you would like to have, recommend a book, and you don't immediately go out and purchase that book and then read it and then apply what you read, you're a fucking idiot. I actually mean that. Every time anyone that I respect who has results I want to achieve in any area of life recommends a book, I buy it. And then I read it. And then I apply what I learned. And I really want to emphasize this point. You have to be an actual fucking moron not to do the same thing, unless these people don't have results you would like, or you already have all the answers and the results you already want, and then, who cares? Why bother learning from anybody? If this person who's successful in whatever area of life I care to improve in, whether it's financial, whether it's relationships, health, whatever it is, recommends a book, they said that it was really valuable to them. No, I don't need that. What do they know? Oh wait, what do they know?
But I started reading the books, attending the classes, making sure that I got in front of people that had something good to say. And then I started keeping a journal. One of the major things my teacher taught me was to keep a journal. He said, don't trust your memory. If you hear something good, just make a little note and write it down. Now, at first I took, notes on pieces of paper and torn off corners and backs of old envelopes, and it didn't serve me well, thrown in a drawer. Then I learned to keep a journal, a bound copy of all my notes. So I would suggest you do the same. Things that impress you, a poem that impresses you. When you attend a class, some of the ideas that impressed you, jot them down. You read something in a magazine, right? Some ideas, take those out, put them in your journal. Keep a good journal the rest of your life. This will serve you well. My journals make up a significant portion of my own library.
Obviously, in the multiple decades that have passed since this original lecture from Jim Rohn, smartphones now are a thing, so I personally just take notes in my phone. I always jot down quotes, things that caught my attention, etc., stuff that I want to review and implement. It's really important to do this. If you hear a great idea and don't act on it immediately or don't recall it, it's not really of any use to you, is it?
And if you saw my library and saw my journals, I tell you what you'd have to say. This is the library, and these are the journals of a very serious student. No wonder Mr. Rohn is invited to lecture and speak on his experiences around the world. So I want the same thing to happen to you. Value captured that you can resort to later, go back over it and review it, and let it become valuable. So that's my first subject, personal development. Work harder on yourself than you do on your... Develop the skills, learn the lesson, take the classes, absorb all that is being taught to you these days. And then later on, of course, you can sort it out, what's valuable to you and how to refine it for your business and for your life and for your future. But the main thing is to get it and start this process of personal change, personal development. And let me say it one more time. If you will change, everything will change for you. You'll never be the same. You'll keep growing. As you look back on a few months, look back on a few years, you won't believe the progress you can make. Economically, your relationship with your family, your friends, and whether you're in sports or economics or whatever, I'm telling you, that whole process of committing yourself for personal change, personal value, can really make your life unique and worthwhile.
And I speak from experience, he's abso-fucking-lutely right. The lesson in today's video is pretty simple. Don't be this guy, actually girl, but who's counting? The timing of this DM exchange, absolutely hilarious. Just a couple of days ago, this very discussion taking place. Check this one out. Motherfucker, you make 20K a month from Patreon alone. What the hell? Why do YouTubers make so much? Couldn't help. 30K actually. The more value I provide, the more I get paid. Simple. You must feel lucky getting famous enough to get 30K. Pure luck, if you ask me. And one of my favorite quotes of all time, super relevant. The harder I work, the luckier I get. And that brings us full circle, back to Elon's tweet. Quote, use of the word billionaire as a pejorative is morally wrong and dumb. Keyword, dumb. That is the perfect descriptor for people who believe that we should, quote, tax the rich because they don't pay their fair share, that billionaires are evil, they only take, or worse, if they have something, they took it from me, there's no other possible explanation. And the same folks who balk at how much some CEOs, executives, managers, and so on are actually compensated in exchange for the amount of value they provide to the marketplace. And finally, if it isn't already evident, if you have any people in your social circle, friends, acquaintances, family members, with the victim mindset, with no conception of the fact that you can actually increase your value to the marketplace and your compensation will increase accordingly, these people are toxic and you should do everything in your power to avoid spending any time with them whatsoever. Obvious caveat there with family, there's only so much you can cut them out. But I'm telling you, people like this with a toxic mindset are like turds floating in a swimming pool. Not only do you not want them anywhere the near you, you don't even want to be in the same vicinity. The more you hang out with pieces of shit, you guessed it, the more you're going to be covered in shit. It's not a recipe for a successful, happy, and more importantly, fulfilling life. And just finally, because I know there's a few idiots, even though Jim Rohn underscored a trillion times, in this video, we have been talking about value to the marketplace. I actually think some of the most valuable contributions any humans on planet Earth ever provide is to their family. Being a great father or mother, raising wonderful children, giving them all the love, attention, energy, teachings, and lessons they possibly can, and setting them up with the right mindset so that they too, rather than becoming a professional victim, can start making plans and achieving goals rather than pointing the finger, finding excuses, and blaming others. The only person you should measure yourself against is you. Do you have clear goals? Are you doing what you can to pursue those goals? Are you giving it your best, or just trying to tear others down and blame people? Something to think about. If you enjoyed these cold, hard truth bombs, you'll hear plenty more content like this over on Patreon in my regular Q&As, so check out the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment to join. It's a great archive of well over 100 exclusive Q&As, dozens of other exclusive pieces of content, loads of perks, plus you'll gain instant, up-to-date access to my Tesla price targets out over the next decade. So, I'll see you over on Patreon, if you can handle it. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan, this is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.